How many followers do you have? What book you have written? Do you motivate? Who do you inspire? Have you been on the stage? No. This show is not about these questions. This show is simply a people living an ordinary life within extraordinary ways. And that's who we have in our studio today. A woman who's 70 years old, but I would say going on her 16, Barbara.
Hi.
Welcome to Women of Vancouver.
Thank you very much, Mona.
Oh my God.
Happy to be here.
I'm so glad that you are here because we've been connecting for quite some time and your story has inspired me in so many ways. So take it from here. Tell me from your childhood to your middles, to your struggles, to your fun, everything.
Okay. A lot of years in there. Born and raised in Burnaby. Lived there basically all my life until I was in my 40s. And I have 2 children, 5 grandchildren, and I had a wonderful childhood. Struggles with mom, but other than that, I feel we were very, very fortunate. We went away on camping trips. We were very well loved. Very well fed, looked after. We had fun, always ran around all over the place, and just a great childhood. And then I got married at 18, had a baby at 19. That was just the love of my life. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm in my bliss. Just so happy.
Tell me about that. So was it something like love at first sight, or how long did you know the person before you got married?
This is really awful the way we were school sweethearts, and the way we met was really awful. He got 3 girls that he invited to a classroom at lunchtime, and then he chose which one he was actually going to date, and I didn't know that until later.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, oh my, okay. If I'd known that, maybe if I was a little bit more mature and a little bit more secure in myself, I probably would not have gone along with that. You're young. You're like, he was cute. And it's like, oh my gosh, he picked me. Wow. Okay. So then, we became really good boyfriend, girlfriend, and we broke up quite a few times, but then we ended up getting married and I had the baby and then we had another one and we bought a house, and then he wasn't infatuated with me anymore. He, decided that he wanted more and went out and found another woman.
And how long you had already been married for?
Only 5 years.
Oh, wow. And you had 2 kids between them. Wow.
Yeah. So I was devastated. I really thought he was my soulmate. And it took me years, absolutely years, to get over the love that I had for him. I even got remarried a couple of years after that. And he wasn't a very nice man, that I found out. And the struggles with him was he built me up, put me on a pedestal. I felt absolutely wonderful. My confidence built. I felt like a queen. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as we got married, he started knocking out the pillar from underneath me. And then I found out that he was not very nice to my daughter. And there was a trial and he went to jail, and he actually ended up dying in jail due to a tumor. But that was really, really hard because it was like, oh my gosh, my faith in men and the faith in me of not knowing me and choosing men that are right for me.
But how did that have affected your kids though? How were your kids when this whole thing happened?
My kids, to begin with, when their dad moved out, they were really quite young. They were 4 and 2. So they started to adjusting well, but then he started not picking them up when he was supposed to. So it was very hard on them. Mm-hmm. And they really liked their dad. And of course, you're not allowed to say rotten things about your ex, right? You got to bite your tongue and just go with the flow. So anyways, eventually, as they started getting older, they just decided that, no, they didn't want to see dad anymore. And the new husband was really good, was teaching us lots of stuff and was very involved. And we went on really nice vacations. And taught me to drive.
You said something that I want to bring it to the limelight, and that is very, very important what you just said, and that is not to say any rotten things about, especially to a child, for their father.
Exactly.
And I'm gone through that, and that's one thing I made sure that no matter how difficult the things became, but you never really say anything rotten or the bad mouth.
That's right.
The person, especially that it's a father of your child.
Yes.
And let them figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
Whether it is a relationship they want or what do the judgments do they have, but not someone that I would or you would want to put it on your child. Is that's how your father is? Because that's our experience, not theirs.
Exactly. Yes. So it was very hard, like biting my tongue and not saying anything about him. And if he didn't pick them up, like, oh, there must have been an accident or something, it held him up, and making excuses for him. And you're right. It got to the point where they're just like, enough, like I can phone him now and see whether or not he's coming, so there was the disappointment. And I think eventually they just realized that he is who he is. And
you want that to be your children's decision, not ours or yours or.
Exactly. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because you want them to have that relationship with their father. Like you want to be that unit that makes it. And I grew up with that. I grew up with my mom and dad and doing things together and always being family and having dinner together at 5:00. And, I wanted that. And I wanted that for them, the stability. So it was very hard, actually, when we did.
So then you went on with
the other one. And then when there was the struggles with that, because I had struggles with my own daughter, and we didn't see eye to eye and didn't get along a lot of the time. And then that's when the second husband took over and said, well, like you two argue all the time, so I'm just going to step in and I'll be the mediator and make sure that you two get along really well. And so I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I gave over the rights to my daughter. I realize that now, and I realized it when things started coming out, what I had done. And it's like, please don't ever, ever, ever do that. Women, do not ever let another man bring up your children. So important, right? And that was a really hard lesson for me. But, and I don't think I'm actually totally over all the guilt that I actually brought that man into our house, that I thought he was absolutely wonderful, and he was so open, I thought, and honest. And
is there anything in particular that shattered you about that relationship?
I was devastated. I didn't know how it was going to go on. I really didn't. I just thought, oh my gosh, I've done it again to my kids. What have I done to my kids?
And how old were your kids by then?
By then they were teenagers. Julie was almost finished school. And it was her last year. So it absolutely ruined her grade 12 year. And Greg was in grade 10. And so it was very, very difficult. And especially when he was removed from the home. And all of a sudden, we're uprooted again. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, now my kids are going to lose their house. So much had happened in their little lives already that I was like, no, this can't happen. This can't happen. And I did everything I could because he cleared out the bank accounts and everything. So it's like, now what am I going to do? And thank goodness I had a job. And they were very understanding of everything that I was going through. And so I went to the bank and I just pleaded with them, and they made it so that I could actually stay in the house to keep the stability for my kids, which I was very, very grateful for. And then in the meantime, because of all of this was going on with my daughter, I got back with my first husband.
You did not?
I did. But you know what? It was because I felt he was in my blood. He was in my soul, and I hadn't dealt with it. I haven't okay, it's over, right? I really thought he was my soul life. He was my soulmate. No. As my grandmother says, a shepherd never changes his spots, right? But yeah, grandma's words come back to get me. But no, eventually he ended up separating and going with somebody else again. So eventually I went, okay, I'm done. I finally got rid of that relationship and I realized, okay, I can love him, but I don't need him.
So where are you with your life now?
Now I am 70 going on 16.
Right.
I am enjoying life. I'm jumping out of planes. I'm paddleboarding. I'm getting out there. I'm exercising. And between losing another husband and losing my mom and getting a couple of illnesses, I decided that I was my new passion, that I needed to look after me. And after gaining 40 pounds, I just thought enough is enough. And I started exercising, and then I I needed more of it to do something. And so then I dropped 40 pounds, and I'm very happy now. So I'm back to where I was when I was young. And now it's just time to get out there and explore and do different things. And my goal now is to get out there and walk the Camino in Spain. So,
Barbara, I have a question for you. You said this was your first time ever sharing your story on this platform in this way. Why did you choose to share the story?
I believe I have things to say to other women. I believe there are women out there that are going through situations that I have gone through. And if I can help just one woman, I've done what I meant to do. And yeah, that's my passion, is to get this out there and just tell women, yes, I've struggled. And I may be able to help you. So, just sit down, talk, and you're worth a lot more than what you think. And that's something that I would like to really pass on to women, is that you're really worth what you think you're worth. Or, it's deep down there. The wisdom's there. Bring it out and let yourself blossom, and the words of wisdom that I would give to all other women is, make sure you look after you first. You know how they tell you to do that on a plane, that you put the mask on first? And I believe in that. And to always make sure that you're putting a little nest egg away for yourself that nobody else needs to know about, and that you look after you. And then you've got if you want to go out and buy yourself something special, you've got the money to do it. But that is just something that has really helped me, is to make sure that I've always had this little account on the side that's just for me. And it's come in handy.
And I think, and that's another great wisdom thought, because I'm a mother and you're a mother. And when you say put your mask on first, as a mother, the first thing we think about is a child.
That's right.
And in the process, we forget we can only give what we can give it to ourselves first.
Yeah.
Not that we don't love our children, but how do we give it to ourselves first before we even can give it to the children?
And that's really a hard lesson too.
Yeah.
Because my children, are everything. They are my life. I just love them to pieces. So to back up and start looking after me was something that was kind of foreign. I had to learn how to do it. And I think that it's very important that women really continue to look after them, and so that they can keep going and look after their children, no matter what comes up in their life. That you're strong, and that you can continue on and be the mom you want to be.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for being here.
Oh,
The story has inspired me in so many ways.
Thank you.
No story is a small story. Every story inspires, motivates, and this platform is about that. So, what are you waiting for? Women of Vancouver. So, Barbara, you know me.
Yes.
One thing about Mona, it's all about selfies.
Yes.
So this cannot finish without capturing a selfie. So let's go.
Oh, okay.